Good morning and welcome to the CBC TV Breakfast Show. Welcome to this TV show, our dear esteemed viewers. We just hope you're enjoying your Friday morning. Indeed, this is a happy and blessed Friday morning. I'm your co-host, Joel Chisompola, and with my co-host,
Martin Letona is my name, right here with you. I guess you had a wonderful night and that God has kept you well. Looking forward to today, making sure that we are in His grace.
Okay, wonderful. So you could be watching right now on the road. Maybe you're rushing for work. Maybe you're still at home. Maybe you're ordering breakfast somewhere, Wimpy, you name it, or any place, Hungry Lion, KFC, ordering your breakfast. We're listening from wherever, from Levy Junction, from UTH, or anywhere, at any place, anytime, stuck in traffic. Remember to stay calm. Remember to handle road rage in a professional way. You know, maybe the driver in front of you might be slow. The driver in front of you might be taking their time. Maybe you're rushing for work and this person is in front of you. Just take time and exercise patience. Just be kind and be gracious to that person. That person could be a learner. That person could be having emotional problems, but don't add fuel to the fire. Don't add fuel to the fire. Otherwise, it will make things worse. It's not worth it to yell and scream and use abusive language on the road. It just dents your image. It will just make you look bad. It will just make you look immature. So practice patience. Even on the road, practice kindness. Even on this Friday morning, don't allow anything to ruin your day. Just be calm. If you're listening at home and still planning for your day, maybe you're taking your kids to school and you're also stuck in traffic. Remember, your kids are watching you. Just remember to be calm. Just remember to be kind and gracious, and model that even to the kids you're driving to school. If you're listening from home, you're tuned in to the right station. You're tuned in on Top Star 121, 121. We're also live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube and also on TikTok. So if you're watching on social media, please, our dear viewers, feel welcome. Feel welcome to participate on our program. You can comment on YouTube. You can comment on Facebook. Just comment, even as we on this show, to inspire, to inform you, and to motivate you to do something good and great with your life. So today we are going to be talking about personal development. So Pastor Martin, what's your take on personal development?
Personal development is where someone is developing themselves. They get to develop who they have, everything that concerns them. You know, development has to do with growth. In other words, you know, when something is growing, it means from one level to another there's growth. So that is development. A child develops from being a toddler, like we are as humans. We've developed, you know, over time. Development has happened. You're a baby from a fetus. So is it embryo, fetus, and then you're a baby and a toddler, a teenager, adult, old man, very old. So there's a process of development. Each and everyone develops. And so personal development is where a person decides and makes a choice to say, I'm going to develop. Whereas there's natural development, there's also development that is engineered by yourself with the power of God. So you get to develop yourself, that where I'm failing, I'm going to grow from this level to another. So how do I develop myself? So that is where now personal development comes in, because you want to better yourself. Is it intellectually, psychologically, spiritually, physically, mentally? You develop yourself financially and relationally, if you like, that is socially. You develop yourself. So in these areas of life, there is development that is happening at the end of the day. So career-wise, all those are developments. Somebody will be studying, they want to be good at this, and so they are developing themselves professionally and whatnot. So a person commits to developing themselves, and I'm sure that each one of us are marked for that. I don't know if you've seen someone who doesn't want to develop. Maybe they'll be going down, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, someone will be going down if they don't want to develop. Do you want to develop yourself?
Definitely. I do want to develop
Yeah,
in so
so-
many areas of my life, and that's something I've also been thinking about. You know, there are times it's like we're caught up, and I don't know if you can call it a matrix. It's like you're just doing things for the sake of doing them. You're following through. No, there are orders to follow. You must be here. You must be at work at this time, and you're basically like this advanced level robot that just walks, and you don't really have a mind of your own. That's why I think personal development is very, very important, because you get to know who you are. I think when you develop personally, you get to know who you are, and many of us struggle with that. It's like we still don't know who we are because we've grown up in systems, be it a family system, an education system, or your system at work, where it's just a set of tasks, it's just a set of do's and don'ts. Of course, rules are very important, but sometimes we get crippled in just following tasks, routine tasks. That's why we tend to hate Mondays, and we love Fridays, days like this, to say, oh, it's a Friday. I know after work I'm going to at least relax and chill with friends, or I'm going to have a party, I'm going to prepare that special Friday meal so that I can just relax. And that's why we seem to have this routine day in, day out. Monday blues, oh no, like we have the weekend high, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, those of us who go to church at least will feel good on a Sunday, but then we remember, oh, Monday, oh no, Monday blues over and over again, and we always tend to be depressed on a Monday, and it shouldn't be the case. That's why I think this topic of personal development is very important, where it reminds us that you can be happy throughout the week. Don't just select a day to be happy, like maybe on a Friday or a Saturday. There you're high, on the weekend then low on a Monday and a Tuesday. You can be happy throughout the week, as long as you have at least some personal development, some goals that you are working on. Because I think we tend to work on other people's goals and not really on our own.
That speaks a lot when you say we tend to develop on other people's goals, and many times it's coming because someone doesn't know what they must be pursuing. So then they have to go with the bandwagon. What my friend is doing, I have to do it. Have you been in a situation where maybe in the neighborhood you start a business, and all of a sudden the whole street is doing the same business? You want to study this, and almost everyone else is doing that. So it's where people lack to have focus. They don't know what to focus on. They don't know what is important for them. So even personal development is determined by what other people are doing. So people, they say chimbwe no plan. That's what Pemba say, where somebody has no plan. So whatever comes, you go with that. So people, going with the wind, where it's fine, that's where you go. So each and everyone needs to have set goals for themselves. If you have your own goals, then you pursue them and you work at developing that. Ndani, to be led by other people's ambitions and wishes, then development cannot happen. Yes, that's what I see from that. So it's just incumbent on each and everyone that you commit to developing yourself. That's why we're calling it personal development. It's not corporate development. It's not family development or national development. No, personal. Personal is individualistic. It's somebody, each and everyone, God has created us for development. We need to develop. Whether somebody likes it or not, they ought to develop. And development will come whether you like it or not. Women develop, men develop, children develop. Everything that has life develops. And so that development which is coming should be either good or bad. So you may be developing towards distraction, or developing towards profitability or beneficial development. Then that works like that. But many a times you find that people are developing otherwise. Instead of developing for the better, someone is developing in the negative way. so that becomes a problem. So it's incumbent upon each and everyone that we set goals for ourselves, and these are the things that will help us now pursue those goals and develop towards them, which is to our advantage. Yeah. So that's my take on that. Yeah.
And that's true. I think you've mentioned something very, very important, personal development. And someone could be asking, our viewers could be asking, but then in our Zambian context, we come from a communal culture where it's a culture where what's mine is yours, and doesn't it attack our culture? Someone could be asking, doesn't it attack our culture because we are communal people, and you're talking about self-development because we need to also put our families first, like in terms of finances. If a brother or sister is in need, you need to share with that person. So like in terms of personal development, how does it stand out in our culture and even in our corporate society?
So what you're asking is about our cultural upbringing and vis-a-vis modernity and AI, if you like, technology advancement.
Exactly.
So where are we right now? You find that certain cultures, we are doing away with them because we are adopting these cultures that are foreign to us. We want to behave like them. We want to do this like them. And so at the end of the day, culture is not so much there, because in Africa, every child was everybody's child. You never talked about orphans. You didn't talk about street kids. You didn't talk about the destitutes. Why? Because there was communality. Is it there today? That's a question for another day. Are we embracing each and everyone? That's something that we are not doing. So many needs to be addressed in that regard. If we talk about culture, it's a lot that we get to do. So that's it. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll continue delving into culture and understanding where we are and where we're coming from. Yes, stay tuned.
Life Church presents
Women Flourish Conference.
Luke 10 verses 38 to 42. Theme: at the feet of the Master, the woman after God's heart. Dates: 31st October to the 2nd of November 2025. An amazing time to share the word from Friday 13 to 17 hours, Saturday 8 hours to 17 hours, Sunday 8 hours to 12 hours. Simply call the hotline on +260 9780 11790.
Host Dr. Ngoma Chela. Guest Pastor Martha Chishimba. Guest Pastor Catherine Sheila Mulea. Guest Pastor Favor Moses. Pastor Libby Mwale. Speaker Mildred Mutesa.
Come through to plot number 4, Zambezi Drive, Ibex Meanwood.
Women Flourish Conference.
Good morning and welcome back to the CBC TV Breakfast Show. We're just here to give you a brief weather update. So as of today, the 10th of October, we are having a sunny day, and of course the temperatures will still be on the highs, will be on an upward trajectory during the next 3 days. So let's brace ourselves for more hot weather. Of course, we are seeing lows of 19 degrees. Of course, that's in the mornings and in the evenings. and it's definitely getting hot during the day. As of now, temperatures are around 22 degrees all the way up to 25, 26. That's around 9 to around 11. Then around noon, temperatures will rise to about 30, 31 degrees. Around 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. temperatures will be about 33 degrees. So we can see an upward trajectory. So humidity is 53%, wind speeds are 19 kilometers per hour, and there is a 0% chance of precipitation, meaning there won't be any chance of rainfall. So we can notice that it's also quite windy, so 19 kilometers per hour of wind speed, and we've noticed that there's also a lot of dust. So as you're walking out there, remember just to avoid the dust, because this dust can cause sneezing, can cause coughs. So we also need to be mindful of that. We also need to take a lot of water and a lot of fluids. We need to keep away from the sun because of the strong ultraviolet rays. So sometimes we think, oh no, it's just okay, I can be in the sun, but that affects our skin. So let's be mindful of the weather. Let's hydrate ourselves. Let's also stay hygienic, and let's just take care of ourselves during this hot weather. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. That is the weather. We take another break. We'll be back with the news. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and it's still the CBC Breakfast right here on your number one inspiring transformation every day. CBC, that's what we do. And so looking at what is happening in the news, first of all, we start with the foreign news. As of yesterday, there was a ceasefire that was perpetuated, or if you like, sanctioned by the United States of America with Mr. Donald Trump actually helping in those agreements with his delegation, that his envoy that was sent to Egypt to discuss a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. So we see that Gaza is experiencing a bit of peace in that there was an agreement that there should be an end of war, that firing and whatnot should come to an end in Gaza. And so what we're seeing is that there is peace in the Middle East as of now, although there was another shooting, or there was a bombing that happened again from Israel targeting Hamas as well. But all that we're getting is that though the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not even commented, or there isn't any indication from Israel that they're willing to cease fire. But otherwise, from the side of Hamas, they're agreeable, and they've decided that there be a ceasefire. There's no reiteration from their side. And then we saw as well that there's going to be an exchange of prisoners of war. even imagine, the dead will also be handed back dead. The ones that are alive will be handed back alive. That is what is being agreed. But then it was said that some of the dead are buried way down below the rubble that has been caused by the destruction right there in Gaza. And so many of the dead may not be recovered, and so some of the dead people that were taken captive into Gaza, or others that were taken into Israel, they'll be handed back either dead or alive. But we saw as well again that the families in Israel really were celebrating that this would happen, and they are thankful to the President of the United States for spearheading these talks, making sure that there is a bit of stability. And so actually Mr. Donald Trump did promise that Gaza will be rebuilt, and so America with the other cooperating partners are ready to make sure that they rebuild Gaza with all the funding and whatnot. So there may be a life, and so life continues afterwards. And so we're hoping to hear from Israel if indeed they have agreed to this ceasefire, and that there be no more firings there, which as well advantages the opposition, because there hasn't been an election in Israel because of the continuing war. And so the opposition have been fighting that there be this kind of ceasefire so they can allow for elections. But now it so happens that when a thing like this happens, it's either advantages the opposition or whatnot. But that's the good news coming from the Middle East, that at least that part of the world, there's going to be a bit of quietness. There's going to be peace. And we're hoping for the same as well in Ukraine and Russia, that part of the world. In Europe, where there is a war that is raging, we pray that the American president be there as well to spearhead talks, which he has done from the time that he took over office. He did make it a goal that he would end that war within 30 days or whatnot, of which those talks happened, but then there wasn't an agreement on either side or something. But though another party was willing to agree, the other one wasn't willing to do that. And so war has continued between Ukraine and Russia. We pray that there be that understanding, that there may be ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. Of course, we've seen over times that Ukraine would be willing to let go, that Ukraine would be willing to put down their guns, but Russia hasn't done so far. But now we pray that there may be an understanding as well, that America will continue to be there to spearhead these talks, so that there be consensus from either side, and then the many lives that have died, that indeed there may be an end to war, that people may have their lives preserved. We don't know why people should continue to die like that. We pray that, is there a way, is it possible that we can have a quiet world where there is no war, where there is no raging, and people should die naturally and not sanctioned by human doing? That is our prayer as Christians and as a church, that there may be peace in the world, because when there is peace, then economies grow, there is development, and we get to enjoy life in the way that God would have us. But as long as there is war in different places, war in families, war in nations, war in the world, then that destroys peace. It destroys tranquility. It destroys understanding, and people get to suffer. The ones that die most are the children, the women, and the helpless, those that are disabled and whatnot. Those that cannot help themselves are the ones that suffer a lot. So many die when there is war. it is important that our governments, our leaders are able to spearhead the peace, that there be a solution to whatever disagreement, that there may be understandings where people can sit on the table and iron out and come up with a solution. That is what is needed. And again, yesterday, the president of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, did allow the Minister of Mines to sign an SI that allows for local mining regularization, like raters to have this power that they are able to regulate the minerals and whatnot. So that SI was sanctioned, and so the president instructing Mr. Honorable Kabuswe to make sure that he signs that SI, so that there is this regularization of minerals, so that we don't have people just coming up with, they pick up a pick or a hoe and they're digging minerals behind their yard, and so there has to be regulation. We can't just do things on our own, and where there's leadership, where there's government, things have to be governed, and so you can't just do things on your own. We need regulation. We need to be regulated in whatever that we do. There has to be that thing which must be done in a proper and wise manner, as it were. And so again, we see that there is a hype in terms of, as we go towards the elections of 2026 next year, different candidates are coming up, and as well we had an economist, Mr. Noah Nkoma, actually highlighting that the presidential fees be raised to 5 million, because in 2021 the president, whoever was contesting as president, paid only 75,000 kwacha, but now Mr. Noah Nkoma is suggesting that it goes to 5 million, because being a presidential office is not a simple thing, that whoever aims to be president, they need to demonstrate that they are able to handle that, and that they have the financial capacity to get there. I don't know if you agree that should be the thing. To be a leader, should you have money? To be a leader, do you have to be loaded with cash? To have a lot of money for you to stand? Should you have a lot of that for you to contest? And the members of parliament were paying 15,000 kwacha in 2021. We don't know how much is being proposed by Mr. Noah Nkoma as of next year, 2026. I know that he just talked about the president, but nothing was mentioned about the councillor, the member of parliament, and whatnot. And so we hope that there be a conclusion, and I'm sure the electoral body are the ones that come up with these fees, as well as the legal team of the Electoral Commission of Zambia are the ones that will be able to regulate and say this is how much a candidate should pay to aspire for office. And so we pray that all goes well. And of course, we've heard of different other people indicating their intention to stand, like State Council John Sangwa, and we've heard of the Makebi Zulus and different other candidates. The other one, Kwacha MP, and different others that are indicating to stand. And of course, there are different opposition party leaders, as well as we know that there will be they will have to stand against or facing the current president, Dr. Hakainde Hichilema. So we pray that as we go towards elections, as we prepare ourselves, that we continue to be peaceful as a nation, and that we don't go the bad way that other nations have gone. And Zambia is a democracy, and as a democracy, we make sure that we speak through the ballot. We don't take to the guns. We don't take to the bush. We are a peaceful nation, and so peace is what continues in Zambia. And that is our prayer, that as we continue as humans, as citizens of Zambia, we be a people that are prepared to make sure that all the processes are allowed and that everything is done as we are governed by our constitution. The constitution of Zambia regulates us. It tells us how we must go about things, and so that is what we follow. And as people of Zambia, we are grateful that God has been gracious to us and that we continue to be receiving of the blessings of God, and that is what we continue as Zambians, that we continue to hold each other, we continue to support each other, we continue to help our leaders, we continue to pray for the peace of the land. And that speaks to the 18th of October, the day of national prayer, repentance, reconciliation, that comes on in October 18th. Pastor Joe, how are you prepared for the day of national prayer and reconciliation? It's every year in October 18th we go to pray.
For me, it's personal preparation, and also just coming to think of our nation and how God has preserved us as a nation. So for me, it's a time of personal reflection to say, by His grace, this nation has never experienced any civil war, any major civil conflict, where of course there was a scare in 1997, but by God's grace we have been preserved as a nation. So for me, it's a time of reflection. It's a time to think, on the 18th of October there is going to be a day of prayer and fasting. But then for me, it goes on. For me, it's an everyday thing, thinking of my nation, thinking of how Zambia needs how Zambia is a beacon of hope and a beacon of peace, because so many people come to this nation either from the Western world or within Africa, and one thing that they see and notice is the peace. They see how friendly we are as Zambians and how we are able to embrace one another. So for me, I just tend to reflect. For me, it's a time, or it's a period of reflection, thinking about how God has been good to us as a nation and how we need to uphold peace at all times in this nation.
So what must we be praying for come October 18th? What do you think should be our prayer focus, prayer points as a nation? What should we be praying for?
Okay, I think of course the major thing is for peace. For peace to continue. I'm sure we are all aware that we'll be having elections next year, and of course during an election year there is always tension, and we can't afford to just sit back and think, oh, everything is all right. But we commit the elections into God's hands, that there will be peace, there will be calm, that there will be tranquility. And also we just pray that God will help us as a nation see what we have, because we are blessed with so many resources. It is said that we have between 40 and 60% of all water resources in the sub-region, if I'm not mistaken, between 40 and 60% of all water resources. And on top of that, of course, lots of mineral wealth, copper, you name it, and other minerals, even lithium for the electric vehicle boom, which we can utilize. My cry and my prayer is that that God helps us open our eyes, that we are able to see the immense wealth we have in this nation, because we shouldn't be talking about poverty. We are blessed with so many resources, and we need to know how to use these resources so that we get rid of poverty, so that we stop dying from preventable diseases, and so that we have dignity, not to be labeled as a developing country, but to be labeled as a country which is able to use its resources.
A country which is able to use its resources, and that will be praying for the peace of the land, that the hand of God may continue on the nation of Zambia, and that we ask for God's peace in our lives, that we be a people that look to Him for guidance, that the people that love Him and the people that are willing to serve others for the better, and that even as we focus on personal development, that God will help us to develop, and that we don't just think about ourselves, but the next door person, the next our neighbor, what is it about them? And so we pray for the peace of God in those areas. We'll take a break. On the other side, we continue on the CBC Breakfast. Stay tuned.
Christ Life Church presents
Women Flourish Conference.
Luke 10, verses 38 to 42. Theme: At the feet of the Master, the woman after God's heart. Dates: 31st October to the 2nd of November 2025. An amazing time to share the word from Friday 13 to 17 hours, Saturday 8 hours to 17 hours, Sunday 8 hours to 12 hours. Simply call the hotline on +260 9780 11790.
Host Dr. Ngoma Chela. Guest Pastor Martha Chishimba. Guest Pastor Catherine Sheila Mulea. Guest Pastor Favor Moses. Pastor Libby Mwale. Speaker Mildred Mutesa.
Come through to plot number 4, Zambezi Drive, Ibex Meanwood.
Women Flourish Conference.
Christ Life Church presents
Women Flourish Conference.
Luke 10, verses 38 to 42. Theme: At the feet of the Master, the woman after God's heart. Dates: 31st October to the 2nd of November 2025. An amazing time to share the word from Friday 13 to 17 hours, Saturday 8 hours to 17 hours, Sunday 8 hours to 12 hours. Simply call the hotline on +260 9780 11790.
Host Dr. Ngoma Chela. Guest Pastor Martha Chishimba. Guest Pastor Catherine Sheila Mulea. Guest Pastor Favor Moses. Pastor Libby Mwale. Speaker Mildred Mutesa.
Come through to plot number 4, Zambezi Drive, Ibex Meanwood.
Women Flourish Conference.
Choirs of Zambia. The stage is calling. Get ready to sing, praise, and compete for the ultimate crown and win a staggering 100,000 kwacha cash prize.
Here is how to enter.
Record a 2-minute video of your choir singing. Let your choir leader introduce their group. Send your clip via WhatsApp on 0968 261196 or email cbc.lighttv@gmail.com or bring it to CBC TV, plot number N4, Zambezi Road, Meanwood, Ibex. This is your chance to win on Zambia's biggest Christian music stage. Don't wait. Entries close soon.
Battle of the Choir.
Battle of the Choirs. See you there.
Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to the CBC TV Breakfast Show. If you're just joining us, right now we are on a wonderful section known as Battle of the Choirs, because we need to promote our different choirs out there and expose local talent. And I'm joined right now with Pastor Shepherd in the studio. How are you, Pastor Shepherd?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Pastor Joe?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. So as of now, how are things going? How is it, especially on social media? I'm sure people are commenting, and what the viewers want to know, like what's going on as of now.
Yes. You know, the Battle of the Choir, we're doing good, and many people are coming on board, and many people are registering, and we are still encouraging people outside there, the choirs, the praise team who are outside there, to come in so that they can register for this Battle of the Choir. So as for now, we have got many people who have registered, and we are actually playing their video, like we promised that some of the benefit when people have actually registered with us will be airing their clip, their video on our TV station, and it has been happening. Yes, we have been airing it, and this coming Saturday we are having the live show right here, Battle of Choir, 14 hours. So we are encouraging the viewers out there, the audience, to actually stay tuned. 14 hours we'll have the Battle of the Choir, which will be live on set. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So it's happening. Definitely people are coming, and for
Yes.
those who have doubts, they can see that clearly this contest is for real. And
Yes,
because the videos, I think, are there. Even on social media, people are able to see.
Yes, definitely. Like I mentioned, the previous Saturday, we had 2 choirs who actually came here in the studio, and they performed very well. We actually called for 10 representatives, but there are more than 10. They are choir. The total numbers are the other one they are 80, the other one they are 100. But we requested 10 representatives because we are in intro auditions. Yes, as we go on, we'll be able to call the whole band. Yes, so we had the Great Isla which came in, and All Saint Choir which came in, and it was very marvelous, and a lot of people watch, and a lot of people are still watching. So this Saturday again we are having 2 choirs which are going to come right in the studio, and it will be live. I love the Great Israel, the way they were singing, it was nice. The All Saint, the way they were singing, it's nice. But we have got another choir who will be singing more and powerful, and I know that more the viewers will be blessed by the administration. We are going to have the Lutheran Community Choir. We are going to have them, and also we are going to have another choir from Kawe, which they are going to come and they will be singing live in the studio here. Yes, so we're encouraging the viewers to stay tuned. If there are choirs who are listening right now outside the community, we're encouraging you to register for this battle of the choir as you are contesting for 100,000 kwacha. I always say that if the winner win 100,000 kwacha, it will actually change their music. It will change their life. It will change their choir. It will change everyone. The entire team will be changed, because just imagine winning a 100,000 kwacha cash. I believe that the praise team, they will buy instruments, they will buy uniform. So this is a way of actually, the reason why we came up with this battle of the choir, we thought of empowering choirs and how we can empower them. We thought of them bringing out a competition where they can showcase their talent. At the end of it, the top winner, we can actually reward them with 100,000 choirs. So I believe this is an empowerment to the choirs, those choirs who have been saying, no, us, we don't have instruments in our church, us, we don't have uniform. You don't have uniform, us, we don't have cameras, us, we don't have keyboard. This is a time for you to join this competition. You may not know that you might be that lucky choir that can walk away with 100,000 kwacha. So we are calling you to register. The registration is still happening this month of October. Toward the month of October, we are closing if you are late. Yes, so yes, we are doing good.
Okay, and I'm really glad. I can see the passion in your eyes. And
yes.
And indeed, the competition is heating up. And you've mentioned a few choirs, and I think these seem to stand out.
Yes.
But of course, others are also doing their best with their preparations, because they know that it's not a small thing. So they're bringing in their very best. I'm sure they're bringing in their very best. And I think just shed more light, like for even those choirs that are still hesitating, especially those outside Lusaka. Because last time I think you mentioned Kawe, like they're the only ones for now.
Yes. Others outside Lusaka, they contacted me, but the only challenge is they are saying, no, we are having meetings. There are some choirs who wants to register, but they want first to have meetings with their fellow choir members, with their pastors, with their leaders, which we have given them enough time, but they have to know that we are closing in October. So they might continue having meeting until the deadline. So we are encouraging them, especially those outside Lusaka. Actually, those outside Lusaka, the way we have made the competition, we have made it so easy. It's not costly. It's not going to be costly in terms of logistic accommodation, them traveling here to come and compete, but we have made it so easily. In the first few months, we have made it so easily. So what they have to do is just to send us a video of their registration. Once they send us a video on our WhatsApp, then we'll send them a registration form. Once they fill in that registration form, then we'll be able to require from them to be sending us 5-minute video of their choir while they are singing, performing, and in that video we're encouraging them to speak to the viewers so that the viewers can actually vote for them. That same clip, while they are far away from Dola, then we'll actually air it on our TV station. Even for the Kawe, this Saturday they will send a video, a clip, and we'll air it. Then there will be a time when we will need them to come here. That will be November. But as we are in October for now, we are just requesting them to be sending us videos until the time when people start voting till December, where we'll have our grand finale. Yes.
Wonderful. So let's just hope it's not analysis paralysis, like for those who are still debating, those who are still thinking, no, the cost coming here, because this is a period.
Yes,
this is a sport.
That's what most people are thinking. Like, no, it will be costly. There are some choirs who are saying, when we are talking to them, they are saying, no, we are going to festival Christmas. I think we have a lot of things we won't manage to demand our time. We have made this competition so easily that it won't actually require much of their time, but there will be some specific date which will be given to them when they are required to come, but most will be done online, sending their video. Those within Lusaka, it's a must, they are required to come here, but outside Lusaka, we have the plan, the way we have made it is so easy for them. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. So dear viewers out there, you've heard the passion, you know. This is an opportunity even for you as the viewers to go support your local team, support your choir. I'm sure you're watching. You have seen how the choirs have been performing and they are putting in their very best. So please just continue liking your local team, liking your choir, and just making the competition interesting. You know, you'll be helping uplift someone's life, because even as this choir sing, I'm sure they minister to people, and people are uplifted when they hear them singing, isn't it?
Yes. Actually, the theme of this battle of the choir, let everything that has breath praise the Lord. So it's a way of ministration. So people who are actually contesting for this competition, actually it's a way they are ministering to people. They are actually ministering. They are taking their ministry to another level at an international stage, countrywide, because most of the choirs, they have got good music, but they have never been heard in Zambia. We believe that there are some of them who have got good songs, but they have never produced a video, they have never been on TV, they have never been on air, that people that the country, the people here in Zambia have never heard about them. But we came up with this platform, and this is a platform where they can showcase their talent, they can actually sell their music, they can actually sell themselves to the viewers. So no wonder we are encouraging them to come in to register. So Battle of the Choir is where music becomes ministry, and we are calling all the choirs to actually come in. Maybe I might use vernacular, tita na makwaya wonse makwaya babandi wonse tibaitana, so that bangabwere pali Battle of the Choir to contest. And we are calling you that registration iliko, and registration mwamene tinaipangira, it's so easy such that mwemufunikira che mkutuma che 2 minutes video, mkatuma ja 2 minute video to our WhatsApp number, then tizami tumilani form, ija form tumilani ndeme amene muzacha register, mkacha register, you scan it, you send it back to us, and you make a payment of a registration payment of 500 kwacha. Once you send it to us, then you'll be in for the competition. So we are calling you, all choirs, wonse choirs from Zambia, we are calling you to register for this Battle of the Choir.
Thank you so much. So you've heard it, dear viewers. It's not just a competition, it's also ministry, it's also uplifting people's spirits. Of course, we're living in difficult times, and you need a ministry like this. You need choirs to sing, so that at least our spirits are uplifted, so that at least we are at ease even in these times that we are in. So viewers, continue supporting this competition, and choirs, please continue registering and continue practicing hard, so that you deliver something that is quality. And remember, this will help give you exposure. Remember, this will help you build even what you already have. So register, practice, and as a choir, perform and give it your very best. So thank you, Pastor Shepherd. Thank you for your time. It's been lovely to have you, and it's always lovely to have you as you explain on Battle of the Choirs. And please keep up with the good
work. We are just encouraging the viewers to stay tuned. On Saturday, 14 hours exactly, the Battle of the Choir will be live right here in the studio. Yes.
All right. So, all right. So thank you very much, Pastor Shepherd. So viewers, you have been watching the Battle of the Choirs. Of course, continue to follow us on social media in order to get even more information. Right now, we take a break. See you on the other side with more information.
Great to have you once again with us on the CBC Breakfast, which you're still enjoying as we talk about personal development, how it is that somebody should develop. We develop from being babies to teenagers, adults, and old. So there's development at each and every stage of life. Joining me on set is Madam Lynette Chilufya. She's one of the teachers at Christ Life School. And Madam Lynette, good morning.
Good morning, Pastor Martin. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. It's good to have you with us. And which grades are you handling at Christ Life School?
Okay, so currently I'm with the reception class. Yes, those are ages 5 to 6.
And those are the most difficult ages, I think, is it? Or are they not difficult?
No, not so difficult, no.
They are not?
No.
How do you manage them? Them being small and whatnot, they're troubling mommy at home, and then do they give you trouble like they're coming to trouble you then? Okay,
by the time they're 4 or 5 years, the trouble is less because they've been in school, especially when they start school when they're in baby class. So they already know the routine for school, they know what they're supposed to do when they're here. So there isn't much problem when it comes to handling or maybe them crying for home. Yes, there'll be moments, but then it's manageable. You just have to like encourage them. Say you knock off very soon and you will go see mom and dad at home. Yeah.
So that comforts them. And
yeah,
then
yes. At least there are people you can conversate with. You don't have to persuade. Just having a conversation with them and they understand.
Correct, correct. Now, talking about personal development, what is your understanding of personal development?
Okay, my view on personal development is where you taking interest as a person or as an individual to just actually develop holistically, I would say. I would look at the mental aspect where you ensure that your mental health is in check. These are things people are battling with out there. So you ensure you find means and ways of actually ensuring that emotionally you're okay, spiritually you're okay, physically you're okay, and all that.
I like those aspects you talk about. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, you should be able to be okay. And more so when you talk about mental development, mental problems that people would have. If somebody's brain is not developed to the max, then it becomes a problem. How does one develop their mind, if you like?
Okay, so brain development starts the moment a child is born, even before actually. But a baby starts learning the moment they are born. From the moment they cry, learning starts. So you find that brain development itself goes on, not until a child is, I think, 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, And then from there, it's just now general learning and all that, because the basic has been done from the day the child was born up to the child is 5 years old. Yes.
And God does that, isn't
yes,
it?
God does. Yes.
God puts in the development.
True.
And so then, at what age do you think somebody begins to understand that I can develop myself? God has done his part. Where does my part begin as a human being?
It depends on the person, because each person is different. So you find that there are people who are adults, but then they behave a bit on the childish side, I would say. Yes.
That's
and then you find that there's a small
maturity.
You find that there's a small child, and then they behave as if they're an adult. There's that. So it depends with the person.
Does that have to do with exposure? Maybe the way somebody is brought up?
Yes. The environment matters a lot.
The environment would speak to somebody's development.
Yes. The environment, the situations one gets to experience as they grow, they really, really do.
And from your experience, I remember in university we did a study of a toddler's development, looking at what stage, when a child is, the hand is small when they are born. It's a short thing. And then we observing, I think that was for 13 weeks or so. Then we're able to measure, with a measuring tape. You're able to see that as we monitor this child in a personal development or growth development, it was seen that there was a difference from the first time where we measured the length of a hand, it had moved. So it means we were able to monitor growth of this child with the hand. You know, you lift the hand and then it was moving to the end that maybe after 13 weeks the hand has developed, it has moved, it has lengthened. So from where you stand with these kids that you're handling, has there been any specific pinpoints that you can look at and say these children, I've seen them when they were this, and now maybe after 1 year, or is it after 2 years interacting with the same child? Have you noticed anything different from the time that this child came?
Yes, actually, the class I am handling, I started with them in baby class, I went with them in middle class, and now we're in reception.
Correct.
So I've been with them for a good 3 years, and I've seen them grow. They've really grown from being...
What specs have you seen, specifics of
So
them
most
grow?
of them came when they were not able to talk, but now we can have a good conversation and they can narrate a whole story, and they're able to read, they're able to write. So I've seen them grow from babies until they're now toddlers.
They're now toddlers. You're able to converse with them.
Yes.
Maybe when they came, they couldn't.
They couldn't talk. Most of them had challenges with speaking, but now they've really developed.
They'll say, "Teacher, may I leave the room?"
Yes.
Are they able to do that?
Yes, they do. They actually do. Yeah.
They leave the room and then they're laid out like that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What has been the best time of your teaching these toddlers? What has been the peaks of what you've been doing?
Okay. For me, I would say from the time they came and looking at where they are now, I can say I've really impacted something that they can really look forward to as they grow, because this is my last year with them. So next year they're going to grade one, and they'll be with a new teacher, and they've been with me for 3 good years. So it's quite an emotional time, because I've bonded with them. I'm used to them, they're used to me, and it's gonna be hard, but I've just seen them grow from knowing little to knowing much. So for me,
you become like a mother to them, and
yes,
so there's this kind of intertwinement and whatnot. You bonded so much with them.
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll be having new ones.
Come
next year.
Yes.
You have new ones. What of personal development as yourself? What have you seen change about you? Maybe are you able to say, when I was this, now I'm here, I'm this? Have you noticed anything about yourself as Lynette?
Yes. I'll start with the fact that I was slim, now I'm chubby.
Good, okay, that is something that you can see.
Yes, that's something I can see physically, but I would say I have grown intellectually, I would say.
Correct.
Because I knew little knowledge when I started teaching the children. But now, looking at all the workshops we've been having, all the meetings we've been having, they've really helped groom me to actually be the teacher that I am today. And I can proudly say that I'm heading in the right direction. Correct.
So that is personal development. You're studying, upgrading yourself, like learning things and whatnot, professional development. Correct. No, that's good to know. What would you say to someone that is watching who say development? What are you talking about? I mean, they don't want to go to school, they don't want to interact with people who know. You know, some people are afraid to mingle with those that seemingly know better than them. What would you say to encourage them that development is what they need?
Okay, so for me, I would talk about how I became a teacher. I started as a teacher helper. I was just helping out when I started. But then, thankfully, Teacher Gladys really noticed the potential in me, and I was given an opportunity to go to school. And from there, I taught as a class teacher for a good 3 years. In my 4th year, that's when I was given the head of department position.
Wonderful,
so
congratulations.
Thank you. So I have I would say I didn't limit myself to say I cannot do this. I kept on pushing. I know there was pressure here, there was criticism here, but I kept on pushing and pushing until I got to where I am now. And I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to continue going. So if you have an opportunity to actually go to school, please grab it, even if it's not something you don't want to do, because I didn't want to do teaching. I would have been a teacher a long time ago, but I kept on refusing because my two sisters are teachers. So I was like, we can't all be teachers. At least we should have a different person on board, like a different career in the family. But then it was something that I would say God really wanted me to actually do or be. It's something I kept on running away from because I find myself in situations where people are praising me, you're doing a good job, but then when I look at what I'm doing, I'm like, I'm not even giving it my best. You know, that kind of a situation. So if you see you've got an opportunity to do something, go to school, do some sort of a course, grab it with all your might and run with it. You never know where God is taking you. Look at me now. You never know. I might be a principal.
Yeah, you may be. So that's personal development. It's an encouragement to someone that at least you need to look at those that can inspire you. Somebody who's doing well, they're doing something that you can't do. It's personal development. You can develop yourself in each and every area of your life. So you need to admire other people and willing to be like them. So when you aspire to be like them, that will be leading you towards development. Teacher Lynette, thank you so much for coming through. I must say I've enjoyed our time together, and I pray that you can avail yourself once again to this show. Yeah, so there you have it, dear viewer. I was joined by Lynette Chilufya, who helped us understand what personal development is, in that she is able to handle toddlers and as well as develop herself as well. So that is a good thing you must do. We take a break. On the other side, we continue with our interaction on personal development. You need to develop. See you on the other side.
Christ Life Church presents
Women Flourish Conference.
Luke 10, verses 38 to 42. Theme: At the Feet of the Master. The Woman After God's Heart. Dates: 31st October to the 2nd of November 2025. An amazing time to share the word from Friday 13 to 17 hours, Saturday 8 hours to 17 hours, Sunday 8 hours to 12 hours. Simply call the hotline on +260 9780 11790.
Host Dr. Ngoma Chela. Guest Pastor Martha Chishimba. Guest Pastor Catherine Sheila Mulea. Guest Pastor Favor Moses. Pastor Libby Mwale. Speaker Mildred Mutesa.
Come through to plot number 4, Zambezi Drive, Ibex Meanwood.
Women Flourish Conference.
Choirs of Zambia. The stage is calling. Get ready to sing, praise, and compete for the ultimate crown and win a staggering 100,000 kwacha cash prize.
Here is how to enter.
Record a 2-minute video of your choir singing. Let your choir leader introduce their group. Send your clip via WhatsApp on 0968 261196 or email cbc.lighttv@gmail.com or bring it to CBC TV, plot number N4, Zambezi Road, Meanwood, Ibex. This is your chance to win on Zambia's biggest Christian music stage. Don't wait. Entries close soon.
Battle of the Choir.
Battle of the Choirs. See you there.
Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning and welcome back to the CBC TV Breakfast Show. In case you are joining us right now, we are looking at the topic of personal development, and so far we've had interesting discussions on it, and we are still continuing on the same topic. So our dear viewers, continue listening to us, whether you're watching on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, even on TikTok, and watching live on channel 121 on Topstar. So we're still looking at the topic of personal development, and right now I'm joined by an amazing young lady, Miss Chansa Maimbo. Very amazing. She's fantastic. She handles her own business, and she's an inspiration to so many young women around. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Pastor Joel.
Okay, wonderful. So what's your take on personal development?
Okay, my take on personal development, I think, as I've reiterated in the past interviews, is that learning new things helps us develop, because when we stand or sit in a certain position and emphasizing to stay in that said position, it's hard for us to move forward, because the world is always evolving and there's always something new to learn. So I think personal development comes in when you open up to learning new things.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That's interesting. And one thing that I've always wanted to ask, and I ask this as a general question, is education always a part of personal development, or is an education a tool to keep us as slaves, to say, no, you're going to continue in a certain way, you work for someone? Because let me give a personal example. I've gone through the Zambian educational system, and we were taught, like when you're young, of course, grade 1 to grade 12, you're taught, get an education, go to UNZA, CBU, you name it, Evelyn Horn, and get a degree or get a diploma, and then work. What's your take on education being part of personal development? Is it always part of personal development, or is it sometimes, can it also actually make you even more rigid?
Okay, I think answering that question will require me to give two answers, because in a way it's a 50-50 answer. So for a person who's a creative like me, I'll give an example of how I make my own clothing and stuff like that. It's something that I have been able to do without going to tailoring school. Why? Because I had some YouTube videos to follow, and sometimes I would look at something, the way it's made, and I'm thinking, how did this come together? Then I'm thinking, oh, there was this attachment, there was a stitch here and there. So there are certain times when I haven't been able to find a video on YouTube, but looking at what someone made, I'm inspired to be able to do the same. So base education is important, because I still need to know how to calculate, how to do my ABCs, how to pronounce words, how to communicate with my customers and stuff like that. And then when it comes to a career path like being a doctor, a nurse, there's no way you can do it without going to school. In as much as they have been, like in the past, what people would call a healer. So you'd find that somebody would know their way around maybe medicine and stuff like that. But usually for them to be the best at what they do, they had someone maybe come before them, like an ancestor who showed them the way to say, okay, when you put this and this together, it helps to heal this. And then there are times when even that person, like they say, the pupil becomes better than the teacher. So in as much as the teacher may have taught the basis of what it's supposed to be, that student or pupil may get to have some new ideas that the person that came before them may not have. But when it comes to certain things, like I said, when it comes to being a doctor, when it comes to being a nurse, the education foundation can't really be run away from, because you can't be trusted as someone who's certified as a doctor, because do you know what is supposed to be injected, how many cc's? That's the only information I know about being a doctor. But then there's there's so much that's required, so much information that's needed to be learned for somebody to actually be able to practice as a nurse or a doctor. So I think that's how I can answer that question.
Excellent, because you've rightly said, for certain careers, definitely a doctor, a nurse, even a lawyer, you just have to go through the material. You just have to know what you're doing or what you're talking about. Because imagine you go as a doctor and you taught yourself, how will you be able to operate on someone? How will you be able to operate on a complex thing? You're a lawyer and then you're supposed to know your case. How will you do that if you're self-taught? And I like what you have brought up. It's a two-way thing, because of course there are creatives like yourself, and then there are people who stick to a certain career path. And I think it also speaks to knowing what you want to do in life. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, definitely you just have to go to school. For a lawyer, after graduating, you still have to go through ZIALI, and you still have to go through that process. For a creative, you have to just continue being who you are. And so in your life, in your personal life, how would you, like, say, maybe rate your personal development, like, say, coming from high school until where you are right now? Maybe just share how you've been developing in these years.
Okay, personal development from high school. I think my journey of personal development was seeping in through the time that I was still in high school. The first things that I did was like learning how to resize maybe trousers. Maybe I didn't like the fit of it and I couldn't afford to take it to the tailor. So that was like the small way I began. But after I was done with high school, there was so much time on my hands. And I came across the knowledge of wealth of knowledge that was on YouTube. And from that, I was able to learn how to make wigs, how to braid hair, because I now realized to say, at that age, transitioning as a young lady, I wanted to now try out weaves. But then I'm thinking to myself, if I do a weave, I have to stay with it for a whole month, which means it's just one hairstyle. If it's a fringe, it's just in your face the whole time.
Exactly.
If it's on the side, it's just like that the whole time. So I'm thinking to myself, for me, I wouldn't want, because braids were always versatile. Like, I grew up, like, whenever it's the holidays, you do braids, and braids, you can style them in any way you want. But for a weave, it was difficult for me. So when I came across people who were making wigs, it was amazing for me, because I knew today I can be in a fringe, tomorrow I can wear this, I can do that. So I started learning how to do it, which was a very big challenge, because you find that you're going to town, you're looking for something that someone mentioned on YouTube and they don't know it or they don't have it. So it would take time. And then I realized to say that there are certain times when people who are working in the stores just don't know the name of it because they haven't taken that time to research. So I would have to go around the shop myself to find the thing that I'm looking for. And finally, when I would always invest in my dreams. Whenever I want something, I want to learn something, I would invest in it. So like there's what is called a wig head, where you can now set your wig and start making it. So I tried to put monies together, finally bought it myself. So whenever I wanted to learn something, I would invest in it. There's what is called like a lace frontal. Yeah, so I also learned how to make a lace frontal. From that, I started learning how to braid my hair, and my mom was the biggest supporter, because she would sit down there, I would be braiding her hair, even if it doesn't come out neat, she's there supporting me. And even when I finally got a sewing machine, she was also the person to tell me, no, get the shitenge, I want you to hem it for me. So my family has always been a biggest supporter of my dreams. Yes, so that has been really my journey, like with evolving. I've always tried to learn more when it comes to the things that I'm interested in, and try to execute them myself, because there are certain things you look at them, they look amazing, and then you're thinking, how is this put together? And then I would ensure that I learn how to do it. Like doing my nails, I really like how people look when they do their nails. So I'm thinking to myself, how do I do it? I find out, they use this glue, this is where I can buy the nails, this is how I can do it, the do's and the don'ts. And throughout the experience of doing it, you do it the first time, you fail, you do it the second time, maybe a slightly better, but maybe you failed again. So with that experience comes like some sort of perfectionism with it.
Yes. Wonderful. And in conclusion, what advice would you give to someone out there on personal development? Because sometimes we find ourselves in situations where someone is a creative like yourself, but then they are being compelled by family to say, no, take a career, be a lawyer, be a doctor, or do something else. And when they try to be themselves, when they try to be a creative genius, it comes in conflict with their family, and the family just continues to step on them. What advice would you give such people?
Okay, in the few years that I've been on earth, I've realized that people who are creative can do more than one thing. So I think it would come down to time management. There are certain times when you can't run away from your guardians who are taking care of you, and they've set out a path for you. They've seen a certain type of future for you, and they're saying maybe you need to do medicine and stuff like that. And I know courses like medicine, law can be very bulky, but there are also those breaks where you have a study break, and there are certain universities where maybe you go on a whole break after writing exams for like a month or two. And I think what I would advise a person like that is, in your spare time, when you have allocated as much time as you can to studying and ensuring that you can be the best student that you can be, also focus on building your personal things, because you can be a doctor and still be a creative, because there are certain people who have a lot of things in them, and when you realize that time management is the key, it is going to help a lot, because when you're able to do the things that you want to do in your own time, you'll be surprised at how much you're able to achieve. By the time you graduate, it's now going to be a decision, because by then you would have been old enough to make your own decisions. If you want to go and to pursue the career of medicine, of being a doctor, or if you want to continue exploring in your creativity, it's up to you, because it's your life at the end of the day. And even as much as you could choose to be a doctor, you could still have like some time on your hands when you're done maybe with a shift and you want to make something, make a dress, you want to make a table. There's so many things that a creative person can do. Maybe you want to be an artist. You could still have a studio in your house and still practice. And once you feel like you're really good at it, you could always drop a career if you feel like it's taking up too much time. But you could always be a jack of all trades.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Chancellor. Indeed, we are always glad to have you on the Breakfast Show. So, dear viewers, indeed, there's sound advice for you. Develop on yourself. Take time to at least look at yourself and focus on your goals and achieve them and develop yourself. Don't always just follow the crowd, but look at what is in you. Look at the skill and the talent that you have, that you can use to contribute to society, and that you can actually feel good about yourself and be proud of yourself and say, I have achieved this and that. And at the end of the day, even with my own personal development, I have helped somebody. So we take a break. See you on the other side.
Choirs of Zambia. The stage is calling. Get ready to sing, praise, and compete for the ultimate crown and win a staggering 100,000 kwacha cash prize.
Here is how to enter.
Record a 2-minute video of your choir singing. Let your choir leader introduce their group. Send your clip via WhatsApp on 0968 261196 or email cbc.lighttv@gmail.com or bring it to CBC TV, plot number N4, Zambezi Road, Minwood, Ibex. This is your chance to win on Zambia's biggest Christian music stage. Don't wait. Entries close soon.
Battle of the choir.
Battle of the Choirs. See you there.
Terms and conditions apply. Choirs of Zambia. The stage is calling. Get ready to sing, praise, and compete for the ultimate crown and win a staggering 100,000 kwacha cash prize.
Here is how to enter.
Record a 2-minute video of your choir singing. Let your choir leader introduce their group. Send your clip via WhatsApp on 0968 261196 or email cbc.lighttv@gmail.com or bring it to CBC TV, plot number N4, Zambezi Road, Minwood, Ibex. This is your chance to win on Zambia's biggest Christian music stage. Don't wait. Entries close soon.
Battle of the choir.
Battle of the Choirs. See you there.
Terms and conditions. In a world filled with noise, CBC is a voice of hope, truth, and transformation. We are a dynamic, purpose-driven broadcaster bringing you content that uplifts, inspires, and changes lives every single day. From youth to professionals, to families and undeserved communities. Our programming speaks to every heart, every home. And for brands with visions, we are the platform that puts your message where it matters the most. We are more than just a channel. We are a movement of faith, of purpose, of impact. Partner with CBC TV and let your brand stand for something greater. Purpose, integrity, lasting impact. CBC TV, inspiring transformation every day. In a world filled with noise, CBC is a voice of hope, truth, and transformation.
It is still a CBC Breakfast right here on your #1 television, where we inspire transformation every day like we are doing right now, inspiring you to be developed. We're talking about personal development. Joining me on set is Mr. Wanga Mutesa, someone that specializes in developmental issues as well as HR issues. HR has to do with development, isn't it?
That's right.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
It's good to have you with us. What do you say about personal development?
Well, personal development is it's basically looking at oneself, because you look at your personal aspect, whether it's in the field of education, whether it's in finances, your spirituality. It's a wide topic.
It's a wide topic. I mean, we have established that development starts in the womb. When a baby is there, they start like it's just a zygote,
yes.
It's an embryon, it's a fetus,
That's right.
It's a baby,
That's right.
it's a toddler, it's a teenager,
That's right.
a youth, if you like, an adult, old man. So development at each and every stage.
Stages, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
So that is God instituted development, where God is helping us develop.
That's right.
But now there is a personal decision for someone to develop. How do people decide to develop on a personal level?
Well, it's a good thing. You have to just be self-motivated, read a lot, work hard, be creative. You just have to go out there. Like it depends on what you look at. Maybe you want to develop your finances, so you look at how much do you have at the moment. How can I multiply my money? And then you have strategies on how to multiply it. And then it requires a lot of discipline, because personal development in any area always requires discipline. Really important that you're disciplined, you're focused, that you're not swayed. So if you're going to school, for example, you're in grade 7, next you're going to have your grade 9 exams, and then you're going to have a grade 4. With it Form 4 now, the education is changing. And then you get your degree, aspire for your master's, PhD, whatever it is, but you have to be focused. Nothing should dissuade you. So you really need to be self-motivated.
Nothing should dissuade you. You have to be focused, and so personal development takes focus.
It is.
The people that are not focused, they don't develop.
No, they don't, because you could, it's like they may start well, but they may not end well. Or some, they just temporarily motivated. Oh, this is a good idea. They want to jump on it, but they don't have the discipline to continue until what they're focusing on is actualized.
That is what they do. I mean, we've seen children develop from when they're in school.
Yes.
We were grade ones. I was born Kaonde, and I didn't know English. The first language that I learned was Bemba. I was on the Copper Belt. You had to learn Amapinda, Imilumbe, Nenshimi. That is what I learned as my first language, my second language from my mother tongue.
Yes.
So you see that we develop time after time. These languages that we are learning and the exposure to friends and relatives all adds to development.
That's right.
So do you see this as helping someone develop based on their exposure or what that they surround themselves with?
Exposure is very important, because you see, the more exposure you have, the better information you get. There's a saying that if you don't travel, the word's like a book, if you don't travel, then you've only read that one page of where one is. So when it comes to exposure, you can be exposed maybe information on the internet. You're exposed to what the teacher will tell you. You're exposed to TV. Again, also exposure matters. The quality of exposure also matters. Even just traveling. Traveling is also good for exposure. It does something to your mind. You get to learn other cultures. You eat other types of foods. You see how other people behave, how they're social, how they view work, and how they take certain things seriously. So it's really important. There's a lot to learn from around the world.
I agree with you in terms of exposure, traveling and whatnot. The times that I've driven north, or I think the last time I'd driven, I was going to Mansa, Samfia, and the feeling is different. It doesn't feel like Lusaka. It's you are seeing trees, you are seeing different people. It's like you're not in Zambia, but this is the same Zambia, but the feeling gets to be different. The moment you're just coming out of Lusaka, suddenly things change.
That's right.
If I'm going to go to Livingstone, the other time I'd gone up to, border Namibia, Zambia, is it Kazungula? Kazungula border by the Zedara there. It feels different, where you see there's even Katombola, the juvenile prison and whatnot. It's a totally different feeling altogether.
Right.
So I agree with you when you talk about development in that if someone travels, even their mind changes. And so the way we look at things, the way we see things is different.
Yes.
It's something that is
good. And traveling is very nice, because also it's nice to see, like you see Lusaka, we don't have much nature. But when you go to like the place you mentioned, it's like this, you see such diversity of nature. You probably see some animals. I will not see a lion here. But when I go out there, I'll see a lion. I might witness a hunt.
Yes.
Those are interesting things to see.
Correct.
You see certain flowers, you smell certain fragrances that you don't get every day. So that's also refreshing for the mind.
Exactly. We were trying to get into like Zimbabwe border, Livingstone, Zimbabwe. Then all of a sudden we found that traffic had stopped. There was the cars ahead of us had stopped, and then I also stopped behind them, not knowing what was happening. But then I thought it's a game area. Yes. So the elephants were passing.
Yes.
So then it said that if you want to disturb them, they will disturb you. They'll come and stamp on your vehicle. You'll die there and then. So we give respect at a distance. The vehicles on both sides stop. So the elephants, until the last one has crossed. So it was a marvelous thing to see. We're just capturing and whatnot. The elephants are crossing until they were done. Then we pass like that. So good exposure.
Yes, but, in fact, you mentioned something earlier about zygotes and the baby development. Even how we expose our babies matter. For example, if you have a baby who's always in the house, the chances that, because you see they're not exercising in terms of focusing eyesight over a long period, over a long range. Yes, the retina. Yes. So when a baby is in the house or is in a classroom, as they're growing up, just that at some point they'll be wearing glasses. The chances of wearing glasses are much, much higher compared to a baby who is outside and they're focusing on a flower over a long distance, because what they're doing, they're exercising their eyes, and they're being exposed to all sorts of things. So that is very, very important. It's good for the brain. It's good. Yeah, it's very, very important for the eyes. It's a form of exercise. So exposure is required in different places. You have certain countries whereby kids are always in the house. And like if you look at countries like, for example, like in China, we go to Hong Kong, I've noticed that a lot of them have that because of being indoors. But that's not for everybody.
So it's a bad thing to keep children indoors.
It's
I've
not
told
good.
my children, don't be outside. Go just be in the house, because my fear is they will be dirty the time that
Yes.
they're outside. So stay in the house so that you don't deaden yourselves.
Yeah,
That's a bad thing.
It's bad. Again, being too clean is a problem as well. because
Being too clean is a problem.
You're compromising your immune system.
Okay.
Your body is also requires to be developed. So your body requires you need to eat some. You need to be exposed to some bacteria, some dirt. So when you see a child touching something and putting in the mouth, what they're doing, they're training their immune system. So again, if we're in a serene environment, we are doing it's an injustice on our body. Let's take for example, we had COVID 2019. It was assumed because of exposure, Africa would die because of our poor health facilities. We don't have the masks and all those things. But you find people in there, Soweto, bumper to bumper, hitting into each other. And then Africa only recorded 4% of the world's death because from childhood people are exposed to some dirt.
And surrounding environment.
So you find the immune system is being developed.
It's developed. So the immune system is developed. I mean, there's a saying that hygiene kills those that know it. So if you know hygiene, then you die. But if you don't know it, you survive. You know, this mad person will be picking garbage here and there. They're eating. They don't die.
And they're not dying.
3-4 years, you see them.
They're still there.
They've never died.
And then you and I, we just a fly sits on our sandwich. We get sick.
You have diarrhea, and so hygiene kills those that know it.
I know it, that's right.
Are you able to take us in the steps of development? Is there anything is there a cycle or anything that is developed to ensure development of a person?
Okay, so basically, there are very, you see, we can develop in many ways. You have to have maybe just draw even a developmental map. You must set goals, have some targets of something, whether it's in the spiritual side, financial side, personal health. If it's personal, you have to exercise. So have an exercise regime. If it's about studies, have a program regarding studies. If it's to do with spirituality, read a Bible, listen to some good worship music, talk to people. And then when you're doing this issue, whatever you're going to focus on in terms of personal development, also consult friends who are strong in that area. So if it's business, you don't want to go to someone who has never done it because they'll just say something off-head or they'll tell you something academic, but go to someone who's actually been through the ups and downs. Then they'll teach you from a practical point of view that sometimes there'll be falls. You have some dry days. You have some bad days. I do run something, and I've had not a very good month, but it doesn't mean that I'm knocked out. I have to work it out. So it's important that we are exposed to the good side and the bad side.
On the bad. So it's for balance.
It's for balance.
Good and bad. But many times as humans, we want the good. The bad is not what we want. So what do you say to someone that is optimistic and they are not pessimistic? And if you ask me, I'm a positive person. I don't like the bad. I want the good.
So it's always important that even as we are planning, yes, of course we all want good things. Even I want good things, but that's not reality. That's TV, that's Hollywood, whatever it is you can call it. Now the issue is that whenever you have a plan, you should have a leeway for those bad days. You may plan for the best, but also find a way of have a contingency plan that you may also have some bad times. And what do you do? So even when you're taking, they say life is full of risks. So if you're going to take some risk, again, even the risk needs to be managed. Take a risk that will not knock you out. So you have to find a way, what is a manageable risk of some sort if you're going to have an investment. So it's very important.
Manageable risk that will help.
That's right.
How have you seen yourself developed, Mr. Mutesa? From do you notice anything 5 years ago and where you are today? Have you seen? Obviously, there's been physical development and mental and whatnot. Are there vivid examples that you can look at of yourself and say, I have developed in this area, relational-wise, this, that? Are those any specific places where you've developed and say, here, yes?
Yes. Well, I have had it because we learn all the time. I've worked both in corporate industry. I've worked with the church. We worked with orphanages. So when I was in the corporate, 100%, I was not aware with certain levels of hardships that were there. We knew it like from TV, and you see one or two people struggling here and there. But when you work with the church, then you go right into the midst of suffering. They're exposed to hundreds to thousands of people, and they all have stories. That does something to my mind. It means that, yes, I knew it academically, but when you see it practically and then you get to learn about their stories, you find that you develop a certain level of sympathy, a certain level of compassion, and then you say, you know what, actually, I have this thing at home. It just sits there and nobody uses it. But there's a guy who really, or a woman out there, who really, really need this, and it will mean the world to them. So you find, so your mind starts, you start to rethink certain things, and you start to prioritize certain things. You see life from a different angle. So I guess that's also part of travel, because then even though it's in the saga, it's not everyone who gets to see everything within the saga. So that gave me another side. The other side that I also bring with me is that when I'm advising people, like, I want to do A, B, C, D, and as a young person, maybe just finish school or something. We're talking about careers, and I'll be like, what do you like? What areas are you strong in? Like, what suits you? They would try and package a plan for them, with them, and walk them through. I've done it with a couple of people in terms of career paths, because we talk of HR, and they seem to be excelling quite well because they have found something that's passionate to them, that they're willing to do even for free. But then when you put aside to it something fixed, or maybe a business venture, then they just explode in that area because it says they have a self-drive to it. So they're developing from that point of view. So yeah, this is what I've been doing all the time.
Development. So is development only natural? Is it can be artificial?
Well, there's it comes from different points, but I think you'll be motivated to develop an area that you have a personal interest in. But again, we also have what you call job misplacements. It's an HR term. Job misplacements. Like in Zambia, for example, one can study something. Maybe you're studying chemistry. Then you find yourself doing something that's outside your field of work.
Outside.
Yeah. I've heard of someone, I think I was watching a program, a gentleman in Tanzania, he studied medicine, but said he couldn't find a job. So he's driving, he's a taxi driver. So that's a job misplacement. But his passion was medicine. And then sometimes you find people, with time, they eventually get what they want to do at some stage in life, and then they start excelling. They just find a multiplication of things because of issue of what you call job misplacement. But then at the same time, you should also be able to adapt. Sometimes you may not get what you need. So whatever comes at you, do your very best. Learn to love that job, whatever it is, and you will still excel.
There you have it, dear viewer. Sometimes you may not get what you need. Maybe the job you are in is not what you had dreamed of. Maybe you found yourself in a place that you least expected. Maybe things are working otherwise than you had planned. But what you must know is that God would be doing something different, something unique for you, because he says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future, not to harm you. So wherever you may find yourself, it is God's doing. Stay in there, be blessed, and continue to focus. Development will certainly come. You can develop yourself in whichever area, just like Joseph was. Joseph was thrown in prison, he developed. Thrown in the cistern, he developed. Thrown in the palace, he developed.
Right.
So whichever place that you are, God will make you flourish. God will bless you. God can multiply you if only you are focused, like Mr. Mutesa was saying. Your closing remarks as we close this discussion.
In fact, I love what you just mentioned just now. It's true, and it's very, very true. A lot of people may be where they're not happy to be, but make the best of wherever you are. I know that the time, I think it was in Babylon, sometime in the biblical days, when the economy was struggling and everything, and then a wise man told his fellow Jews, and said, you know what, if the economy is bad, things will be cheap, make sure you invest. This is the right time for you to invest. So whatever you do, every challenge that you find, whatever problems you are, let that problem be an opportunity for you to find a solution, because people who always find solutions are the people who make money. The secrets of billionaires, millionaires, they always have solutions for the various challenges that are there. So wherever you are at the right place. Even if you don't like it, you're actually in the right place to find the solution, and you can always make money out of it.
Amen. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll continue as we wind down personal development. Stay tuned.
This is Breaking Free.
I have to say, mental health was not my first choice.
Okay.
So this is my second career. I was very fortunate when I came out of school. I went into a career in marketing, advertising and sales.
Because I was a pastor and a businessman. So every time when I go for business dinners with my clients, some of them would say, no, just drink a little bit of wine.
Yeah. So again, if we are focused on areas that are negative, we are focused on our anxieties, it's going to perpetuate negativity. Remember that you have worth, you are worth it, and you are loved.
If you are a prostitute and you condemn yourself, you beat yourself down, go to church anyway. If you're a criminal, you're a robber, and you think what you're doing is not right, go to church anyway. If at any time you drink, you smoke, and you condemn yourself for that, go to church anyway, because church was meant for you and I, because we are both sinners. On Breaking Free, we hope that one day Zambia shall be sober.
So won't you break free, won't you break free?
Welcome back to the CBC TV Breakfast Show, and today we're still looking at personal development. Right now I'm joined by an amazing young woman. Her name is Merab. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's nice.
Wonderful. So in your own words, how would you describe your journey in personal development?
The word personal development refers to the ability to develop yourself, like you're growing and how you take care of all about your health. Yeah, that's personal development in my own understanding.
Yes. All right. So personal development encompasses a lot of things. So your personal health, even as you are growing as a child, maybe you are young and now you're starting to mature. So it's mental, it's financial, relationship wise, and every aspect of your life. So in terms of personal development, what have you noticed about yourself? What have you seen change about yourself in terms of personal development?
In terms of personal development, I would say the time I was young, I never used to take responsibilities, but as I am growing, I have some of the responsibilities that I can be taking, and aside from that, here comes in relationship. Yes.
Yeah, because I also give a practical example of myself. Growing up, I was actually a very shy person, and even speaking on television right now, it's actually been a milestone for me, because I was shy, I was skinny. Like on the physical side, when I was younger, I was really skinny, but now, of course, people can see I've put on weight, and the people would see me like, that's how you are now. You've gained so much weight. That's not the way you were.
Just like me. I used to be a shy person, but as I am growing, it has changed.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Like even in terms of education, like say for personal development, like how would you differentiate? Like say there's the public education standard which we all go through, which is very important, and then there's also your personal development. So for you, how has your journey been? Sometimes have you asked questions, why do I go to school, and is it really necessary? Because some people say no, education only makes you a slave. For you, how is it?
No, education doesn't make you a slave because education is part of personal development because we learn a lot of things at school. Well, I was a shy person, just like you said you were, but at school, you learn to interact with each other. That's one thing, part of personal development. And the other thing is we acquire knowledge from school. Yes. Although we know that every person is born with wisdom, but knowledge is acquired from school through learning. Yes.
Yes, very important. And when we talk about education, actually there are different kinds of education. Of course, there's formal education and informal education. So for you, have you also learned from both? Like say, oh, there's a formal education and there's informal education where you just gain a skill on your own.
Yeah, I've encountered both because formal education and informal education, I've encountered both, whereby the other one is going to school, yes, and the other one is just by observation. Yes. So I've learned a skill from my sister, who is an hairdresser. Yes. So I've also learned to do hair. Yes.
Wonderful, very inspiring, and indeed that's interesting. I like what you said, skill. So I think personal development also speaks of us developing some kind of skill, be it public speaking, like I'm learning right now. I'm learning to be a good public speaker, and you've learned to be a hairdresser. So a personal development is very important even in the world we are in. We do need to evolve, we do need to change. The world is always changing. We need to keep abreast with different ideas. So thank you very much for your time on The Breakfast Show. Thank you for inspiring viewers out there who have been listening. So dear viewers, we have come to the end of the CBC TV Breakfast Show. I hope you have been inspired. I hope you've gotten information. I hope you've been inspired, and I hope you've been motivated, because that's what this show is all about. We hope to help you get inspired, get information, be motivated, so that you can help someone around, so that you can be an impact to someone out there. So please continue to stay tuned to the CBC TV Breakfast Show, running from Mondays to Fridays. And we'll see you on Monday. Please enjoy your weekend, and remember to be productive. Remember to think about your goals, and remember to develop on a personal level. Have a pleasant day.